Hi, this is another episode of Kevin Fighting City Hall. I attended a meeting on January 20th. It was the village council meeting for the village of Ada. These are the recipients of this email. Michelle Chambers, she is a zone ordinance, I'm not exactly sure her title. Amanda Sears, she's the village administrator. Fiscal officer, well, that's Patty Navin. He's the fiscal officer. The mayor, David Rederer, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Here's the one that piques my interest, Jane Napier. She is the assistant prosecuting attorney for Champaign County. She is also legal counsel for the village of Ada, apparently for 30 years. So, of all these people listed here, she's been involved in village business for 30 years. Sean Beck, a the Democrat village councilor. Sean Beck. Sheila Coruscant, she is also a Democrat. She is also the Hardin County chair of Democrats. She's also village council member. Elle Mason, I think she's a Republican, and I think she's village councilor. L.K. Rowe, that's a new one. I believe he is a Republican, and he's a council member. Zandowell, he ran as a write-in candidate. He got voted in. The others got like hundreds. He got like 61. He's a council member. And then Alex Cooper, the chief of police. This is 120. This email was written the next day, so this is before the second murder that occurred in Minneapolis. To whom it may concern, I did not do well last night. I was ill prepared and did not hit all the points I wanted to. I shall try to prepare a speech for February 3rd. My goal was to define what I feel are evil people. I failed. I will try to do so in writing. An example, if your belief on the death of Renee Good is she got what she deserved, to me, that makes you an evil person. I was going to elaborate more here, but I didn't. I do not feel hatred towards such a person. I am not among the crowd that wish Nuremberg style penalties for the U.S. version of Nazism, the MAGA movement. And I don't. I think the biggest thing you could do with the MAGA person that will upset them is to take away their privacy. From here on out, we keep an eye on them to make sure they don't harm anyone, including themselves. How do I first see if there's an enemy in my midst? I use the voter record tools. I have circulated a petition before and I've considered running for office, so I'm aware of the tool. If I see consistent voting in Republican primaries, I will assume MAGA and very likely fascist. Also, likely racist. As one reporter put it in 2016, not all Trump supporters are racist, but you can be certain that all racists are Trump supporters. This brings me to Martin Luther King Jr. being a holiday for the village staff. This is an excellent way to dispute my belief that there are racists among staff and elected officials. If the village chooses to honor a man who fought and died for an end to racial injustice, that would dissuade myself and others that racism is a problem in the village of Ada. I suggested it be a paid holiday because that often will get racists to go along with the idea. This is not a legal matter, so I ask anyone who receives this to reply to me how you personally feel about making Martin Luther King Day a holiday for the Village of Ada staff. If no one chooses to reply, I will presume the racists among you terrify those that are not. The rest of this email will be the rest of this email will be about what I feel are severe problems in the administration of the Village of Ada. I would like to see a complete overhaul of the village ordinances. For the MAGA minded, This is in the spirit of Doge. For example, I would like to eliminate most of the water ordinances. I argue, and the math proves, that the formula is geared to have residents pay for businesses' water. Oop, that's a grammar error. If the fiscal officer is able to honor her words, I should receive water revenue and water usage reports for 2025. I believe that residents should know how much they paid using the formula in the ordinances compared to what they could have paid if everybody paid the same rate. For those new here, I took the revenue, which is all the monies collected by paying customers, and then I divided it by the water used by all paying customers. Sorry, I'm adding to the text, but that's the gist. I took all the money paid, divided by all the water used, and came up with a rate. And that rate showed that 90% of the residents would pay less for water if businesses paid the same rate. One rate for everybody. The water ordinances by date showed that it once was that way. Decades ago, it was split up into two parts, one for water and then one for unanticipated expenses. And that's question mark because I can't remember exactly how it's worded. I spent several hours going through them, and the 6 videos are available. I have them, links for them if you want them. Finally, on water ordinances, this is a policy I heard of. If you own your residence, you can make payment arrangements on your bill. That is prohibited if you are a tenant. That is blatant discrimination if true. On the subject of water bills, I would like to see you add on the village website telling people on where they might get assistance with their water bill. It would be nice to see a blurb to contact CAP. It might be called CAC. I don't know if it's CAP or CAC anymore in Hardin County. I will postulate that if you do not want to do such a courtesy, it is because you are evil and enjoy any opportunity for cruelty and harm to people you feel superior to. I still seek the removal of the ordinance that is a duplicate of state law, the one regarding establishments that sell alcohol. I bring this up to highlight a serious flaw in reasoning. This is one where Jane Napier brought up a story about a meeting. I believe it included a document made the very day it was sent. Yeah, I've gotten a couple or maybe 3 of those where I asked for proof something occurred and they sent a PDF that was created the very day that it was sent. And that would be for something that happened years ago. So that's weird. If they have records, it should be dated when it occurred, not the day asked for it. I asked if there was a recording. If my memory is correct, her argument was that it would just be a bunch of voices talking over each other. I point out which is better evidence. A recording that may have a video of participants and voices identifiable even when jumbled, that has metadata showing it was created and if it was altered, or a story told by someone. You can tell which one did I receive. I get stories told by someone. I even pointed out who's telling me the stories, like legal counsel. Jane Napier, of those 2 options, which would be better in court? Love to hear an answer. I would like to share your answer with the Ohio Bar. Since that chain of emails, it occurred to me that there is a method to see if such a meeting occurred. That would be asking for the GPS data on the phones of the people present. I should have said claim to be present. I'm not asking for that at this time. I am pointing out that technology will help society eliminate the harm done by evil people. What I'm basically telling her is that it's hard for her to make up stories because the details will shoot them apart. This brings up a current issue with an ordinance. I have tried to convey concerns regarding the enforcement of an ordinance mentioned in an alert. I have sent emails to Michelle Chambers, Officer Eichmann, and Chief Cooper. Now, Chief Cooper because Officer Eichmann, well, Chief Cooper's his boss. Today or tomorrow, I will walk to the community markets and get the address of the sidewalk that is in need of repair to the point it is hazardous to pedestrians. I will see if the village of Ada is sincere about the just application of its ordinances. I am also waiting to hear if Officer Eichmann was improperly using Google Voice in his duties as code enforcement officer. And then I bring up an odd coincidence. Officer Eichmann and I share an odd connection to Nazism in our surnames. Mine, Richard Wagner, was the favorite composer of Adolf Hitler and believed to be very anti-Semitic. Wagner's music was omnipresent in the Third Reich. His, Otto Adolf Eichmann, was an SS war criminal hung in Israel. Weird, huh? I have mentioned the desires that all meetings of any sort that deal with village business be recorded. The reasoning is simple. Evil people will not want to be recorded. That is a fact. Jane Napier, in previous emails, appears to be opposed to this. Other than the desires of evil people, I see no issue. I'm not saying that all recordings must be made public. I am saying that they should exist. That way, anytime there is a conflict, a mutually agreed upon judge can review the recordings to check for impropriety. This is one more item that I am asking for individual replies. Are you for or against accountability and transparency? I haven't gotten a reply from this. It's only 4 days, but the snow might be a big deal for the weekend. Not a major concern of mine is the use of personal emails for village business. If all staff and elected were required to use the same domain, adaohio.gov, all emails would have the same storage server. If there was ever an investigation, it would be one collection point and no need to sort an account to separate personal from business. I would even champion the adoption of a phone system to record all conversations related to official business. Again, reinforcing the knowledge that evil people do not want to be recorded. And then I bring up an example of an email address. An example, lkrose17@gmail.com. This is on the website, it's published, and these are not the initials of Mr. Rowe. Yeah, I believe the L is correct, but the K, I believe, appears to his wife, or I believe the K is his wife. They appear to be a combination of husband and wife initials. I wonder if Mrs. Rowe is privy to my thoughts I share with her husband. Is she then privy to official government business? Should she be? And now I talk about, I had brought in 2 books. One is History of Hate in Ohio, which I told them I was looking for familiar names. See if anybody in that book, white supremacy and racist violence history in Ohio, was related to any of the individuals in the room. I'm still reading it. I'm up to about the 1930s in history, and I haven't found anybody recognizable. But I brought another book. It was the last phone book. And here we go. I also forgot to mention the other book I had with me. It was the last phone book I received for Ada. I used it to look up the phone number for the mayor. I am often surprised by how many people forget about the phone book. Here is the number in the book. Now, I have blacked out the names and the phone numbers because a lot of people think doxing to share information like that. Every time I've read about doxing and included a threat, in other words, you released somebody's address in hopes that harm would come to them. But so I don't argue about what doxing is, I blacked it out. I have attached the recording to when I called. Oh no, I have attached the recording I got when I call. Is this no longer the mayor's number? Or is this a way to screen calls through deception? Evil people use lies in their life. Now let me play you what I got.
Continue this call in English.
Para continuar en español, presione 9.
Hello, and thank you for calling. Sorry, you have exceeded the maximum allowed number of attempts. Please contact customer service.
Now, that's odd. That sounds like a business phone or something. But anyway, I thought it was a way to screen calls. For those who believe I am among the evil in this world, where are the lies I have told? Do I openly admit my errors, or do I craft a tale to cover them up? I did not say I admit errors quickly, but I do admit them. That's true. I'm real slow to admitting I made a mistake. I should get better at it. Do you now see how I view evil? Again, no replies yet. I think I will close this with the subject of the flag code. I believe I'm addressing two concerns: honor for the flag and outright laziness. The flag was at half staff at the time of the meeting. It should not have been. I see where someone thought it meant the objectives by being better illuminated. I also see it as a refusal to do the right thing because the right thing was told by someone, me, that is disliked, and I am. I asked the village to do the right thing. Either borrow a 32 or 40-foot ladder and fix the light, or make someone put it up after sunrise and take it down before sunset. I am not someone who pretends to be patriotic. If you do not want me to wonder how many hypocrites are in the room during the Pledge of Allegiance, put a little effort into honoring the flag and the flag code. Sincerely, Kevin Wagner. Again, I've received no reply.